Dekile, Sierra Leone, Dekile. We sorry, oh, Sierra Leone, we sorry, oh, we sorry, Sierra Leone, we sorry, Dekile, Sierra Leone, Dekile, oh, Dekilo, Sierra Leone, Dekile. We sorry, Sierra Leone, we sorry,
Some of them had never been to a big city before. Some came barefooted. Some came half naked from the jungle. If you invite a man from the jungle, a man that has never been to the city before, and he comes and sees houses, 2 or 3 story houses, he sees tar roads, he sees beer in bars and everything, he will become mad. And it was total destruction. Body parts were displayed at Crouton Road. Somebody was killed. His hand was placed this way, the other hand was placed there, the legs were placed there, the head was there, the middle, everything was just displayed right at an intersection on the street. So there was death everywhere. We that were in Freetown really saw death.
When the rebel and the disbanded army invaded Freetown, they were going in search of me. I was filming from a protective cover, and everyone in our house had a rebel going around. He was shouting outside in the street that they're going to burn down all these houses because of that cameraman. And later the night, the rebel burnt down some houses. I made to understand he killed about 3 people in search of me.
The rebels and the soldiers said they would rather turn Sierra Leone or Freetown into dust than leave power. And so on their cars, they would write in red, Freetown on fire. They would write on the street, Freetown on fire. So we, the civilians that saw this, were totally gripped by fear. And then one day, I think it was the same day or the next day, we heard people outside our house, and they said, there is a journalist here and we are coming for him. And so I disguised myself. I put on shorts, put on a cap, and put on some glasses. And then I left the place. But when I was going through back streets. Almost everywhere there were dead bodies. There were burnt cars and burnt trucks with the passengers in them. And so I walked through that horror, and I arrived at Regent's Street. That was the place where my wife lived. I went in there. It wasn't long after that they came there. And they said they wanted to burn down the place. And then one of them suggested that they should not set fire to the place as it is. They should take all the women out. I was surprised at that, because rebels normally they don't discriminate when they want to kill. The women and the children began to come out, and we the men followed. Fortunately, they never knew me. They just heard my name and they never knew me. And so I came out. The rebels were standing there. I came out. I went my way, and they set fire to the house, and they burnt it down. I lost a lot of things. I lost all my property, but most of all, and the most valuable property that I have ever lost are my writings. And I cannot recreate them because writing fiction or taking things out of your head and writing them, if you lose them, it's very difficult to recreate them again. So I'm virtually empty.
Although a lot of tapes were taken from me by the Kamajors, rebels, and some ECOMOG personnel, but I've got good number of my footage. And I lost a lot of footage again when the rebels bombed down the SLBS library. It was really, really bad because the library has been in existence for over 20 or more years. They've got a lot of materials there. I decided to quit Sierra Leone when the government turned against me and the RAF is after me as well. I managed to hide myself for some time.
It was very, very risky, but I thought it would be wise for me to leave Sierra Leone. Where I was going, I didn't even know my destination. I only knew that I was going to Guinea.
When I escaped from Sierra Leone, I went to Guinea by boat. And I stayed in Guinea for almost 3 years.
Refugee life was very, very hard. It was like living in hell. If you are caught speaking Creole, broken English, come on, oh my God, you are going to be dealt with. It's sad. It's like I was arrested twice whilst I was living in Guinea as a refugee.
When I was in Guinea, I met so many of the journalists. And so we came together and formed an association. That was where we used to meet to share ideas, to comfort ourselves, because everybody was discouraged, everybody was disgruntled.
We use our connection as journalists to form a group called the Association of Sierra Leonean Journalists in Exile, ASALGI. And that group was very, very vibrant. We fought for the rights of refugees.
The proximity between Guinea and Sierra Leone is very close. And so we thought we were not safe in Guinea. And so we approached the High Commission for Refugees and we put our case to them. The gentleman was called Hans Lonshoff. We thought we were going to be resettled in Canada or in America. So when he said we were going to be resettled in Australia, we were disgruntled. But he told us that we should not be discouraged at all. He said he was bringing us into a fertile ground. Of all the journalists that were in exile in Guinea, the highest percentage came to Australia.
Make sure that there's going to be a sweeper. Presently, I'm the coach of the Sierra Leone soccer team here. City boxer.
Here is the news about Sierra Leone.
read by Edison Yongai and
Marvin James.
A leading Australian oil and gas company has decided to extend its operations to Sierra Leone, according to reports.
Well, in Australia here, I'm still involved with journalism because I'm presenting a radio program.
The Australian oil company aims to gain 5 to 7 deepwater exploration options in the region. In the meantime, let's listen to more music from Sierra Leone.
Unfortunately, not every one of us was successful to leave Guinea to come to the Western world. Most of our colleagues are still languishing there. They're still there, and they've got no means of coming here, of coming overseas, and they can't go back to Sierra Leone. So they're just suffering there.
The plight of other journalists is really terrible because all of them are still afraid to report objectively.
Sierra Leone went through the most gruesome war that can ever be imagined. One thing about the international community is that they did not take the war in Sierra Leone serious. I don't know whether because it is a tiny country, or whether they were not getting much information about it, or whether it is because no Western personality died there. You see, I think that could be the reason. I don't know.
The war crime tribunal is really necessary, but it's like most people whom I felt should be facing the war crime tribunal are not facing the war crime tribunal.
It seems as if Sierra Leone is on a time bomb. It's just waiting for time to explode, and it will start all over again.
Daye, daye, Sierra Leone, daye. Oh, daye, Sierra Leone, daye. 10 kilos, Dekilo, Sierra Leone, Dekilo. Oh, Dekile, Sierra Leone, Dekile. We sorry, oh, Sierra Leone, we sorry, oh, we sorry, Sierra Leone, we sorry, Dekile, Sierra Leone, Dekile. Oh, Dekilo, Sierra Leone, Dekile. We sorry, Sierra Leone, we sorry, oh, Sierra